All right, chapter 54. Family relationships. Son. He's your greatest joy, the son whom your heart's desire has begotten, the hope you hand down to the future. Yet the pleasures of fatherhood must be tempered by the need for chastisement, for the youth does not become a man without discipline. All youths grow up, but not all grow into men. Great are the duties of a father, and grave are his responsibilities towards his son, for the future of the youngster lies wholly in his hand. Remember that your son will imitate you in word and action, and that the best instruction is by example. If you expect him to do that which you do not, or not to do that which you do, then you are unjust and unworthy of your charge. If your son reaches manhood lacking the knowledge of things a man should know, if he possesses a sullen manner and dispossessed nature, if he is a weakling or a dissipator, then he is a disgrace to you and a condemnation of your fatherhood. You have failed in the most important duty of a man. Your son is what you have made him. If he grows up a failure or a weakling, then add not to your unworthiness as a father by rejecting him. If he remains flesh of your flesh and your responsibility and burden, in the fullness of time you can make amends. The first step in begetting worthy sons is to make a wise choice of their mother. Riches and position a father may not be able to give his son, but example and good counsel, discipline and a guiding hand into manhood can be given by every father. These are the birthright of every son. Cursed be the despicable man who denies his own son this birthright. No man has ever turned from his father and departed from his household because he was not given riches and possessions. But many men have turned away from their fathers because they did not receive proper instruction, guidance, and opportunity. Cursed be the man who accepts the joys of begetting his children, but evades the responsibility of their upbringing. His sons will not forget, and his old age will be barren and filled with regret and self-reproach. Chastisement in the home is a proper preparation for the discipline of life. There is no way other than by a wise and proper upbringing that a youngster can be prepared for life. It is not sufficient that a son be as good a man as his father. Life progresses, and he must be made a better one. Whether your son grows up to be a blessing or a curse to his father, or whether he becomes useful or worthless, depends entirely upon your wisdom, guidance, and care. Think not that the task can be treated lightly, or you will live to regret your folly. The sapling may be bent to shape, but the tree is unalterable. If it be unseemly, other men will cut it down. Therefore, commence his instruction as he learns to walk, and as he grows, nourish his thoughts with the maxims of wisdom. Carefully guide his footsteps towards manhood, for there are many improper paths and pitfalls. Bend his nature in the right direction while it is still supple. Mold him in uprightness while he is still pliable. Turn him in the right direction during youth, and watch his inclinations. If evil habits appear, weed them out before they take root and develop in strength. Chastise him with restraint, for overmuch punishment reveals defective upbringing. Let it be given only of necessity, for the most receptive ear of a son is that on his backside, which listens best when thrashed. Guide, but never drive. Always treat his mother with respect and affection, for if you find contentment and joy with your life, he will find them with his. Leave him not with a heritage of sorrow. So shall he grow in comeliness and strength, a man of honor, noble and straightforward in his ways, a real man. He shall rise above lesser men as a great oak rises above the brushwood, and though you may have failed in all else, this achievement will set the crown of success on your life. The virgin soil is yours to cultivate as you will. It is fertile and responsive. Let it not want for care, for it be unhusbanded. It will remain barren, unproductive. The good pasture that is neglected produces weeds in abundance, and who is blamed, the pasture or the husbandman? The seed which you sow will produce a crop to be reaped in the fullness of time. The weeds you neglect to pull up will multiply and pollute the harvest. A harvest of gladness, pride. Hold on. A harvest of gladness and pride can be yours according to your sowing and attention. So shall you reap. Deposit with him your treasures of stored knowledge, your hopes and aspirations, and he will accumulate a profit greater than your dreams. He may transmute the ashes of failure and bitterness into the gold of success. Think well about your appearance in his eyes, for to him you are an inspiration or handicap. Teach your son manly ways, for he is destined first of all and above all to be a man. Leave him not to acquire his nature in the chambers of women. A son needs the firm guiding hand of a man, for that of a woman is too soft. Instruct him in the ways of discipline and self-control, that he may be master of his life. Show him the wrong of boastfulness and the error of vainglory. Instruct him in the need for manly forbearance. Show him the wrongfulness of ingratitude in womanly ways. If he become a follower of falsehood, a deceiver or hypocrite, then he is a memorial to your everlasting shame. Instruct him in the ways of moderation, in the ways of healthful living. Show him the folly of indiscretion, that he may avoid the pitfalls of life. Instruct him in the ways of diligence, that he may become a master of his craft. Show him the weakness of insincerity, and that his heart may be strong. Instruct him in all the things wherein you have succeeded, and show him wherefore you have failed. Instruct him in the bearing of arms and in the art of combat and defense. For what use is it to teach him wisdom, to instruct him in skill, and show him a good way of life, unless he has also the ability to defend and retain these things? It is not futile and a pitfall for his feet to instruct him to defend the weak, to fight for justice, and to oppose the oppressor, unless he be given the ability and strength to do so. Would you send him against a lion armed with a twig? Are you going to instruct your son to fight for a cause and send him out to do combat unarmed? Would you give him possessions, home, and honor, and then deny him the skill to defend them? The law decrees that every desirable thing must be struggled for and then defended when attained. Nothing that is good comes easily or is easily held. Give your son confidence in himself and in his people. Give him pride in his nation and in his kinsfolk. Instill into him by example the love of learning. If he lacks intelligence, he has hands. Teach him a skill. Teach him to bear all things manfully, the good with reserve, misfortune with fortitude, and disaster with courage. Teach him to think and to query and to reason. Teach him to rely upon his own judgment and to be self-sufficient within himself. If he asks no questions and agree with you on all things, inquire if he be really your son. If he spend too much time in the women's quarters, turn him upside down. Instruct him early in the way of God, for unless the seed be planted early, the plant will not bloom in its season, unless the fragrance of belief in the true God surround it. Life is meaningless and empty, for it lacks warmth and vitality. It will have no purpose beyond pleasures that pass and the accumulation of things which will be taken away. He will follow your good example. Show him the paths of contentment and peace. Deny him not a joyful childhood. Respect his mother, that he may learn respect for his wife. Dispute not with your wife in his presence, lest he think it proper to dispute with his. That which you do, he will do likewise. And if you have not the wisdom to live peacefully within your own household, then he is the son of misfortune. Let not your son live apart from the things of your life. The things you know now, he will know later. The things you do today, he will do tomorrow. You cannot teach your son courage and duty, fortitude and affection, temperance and diligence. These things he will inherit from you by example. Therefore, let your every word and deed in his presence be considered. If you chose his mother unwisely, then it is well to keep in mind that you did the choosing. The mistake is yours and not his. Therefore, put her not away from your household and deny him her love, for you, having chosen your burden, must now carry it. The way of life you inherited was that made by the generation of your father. The life of your sons will be made by your generation, not theirs. Will they reproach you or praise you? The generation of perfect fathers will be followed by a generation of perfect sons, and in those days they will live on a perfect earth. Wars are not made by sons, but by fathers. There are no criminal sons, just indifferent fathers. If a son take a whip to his wife, it is a father's hand that put it there. If a man lurk and wait to rob another or to commit a deed of wickedness, his father stands beside him. When a man walks along the path of wickedness, his hand is in his father's hand. When a man is made captive because of his wrongdoing, his father haunts his prison. The deeds of a son, whether they be good or bad, reflect upon his father. As a father basks in the light of a son's achievements, so shall he not escape the cloud of his failure. Say not that others have led him into the paths of wrongdoing. If a dwelling be well built, it will withstand any assault of wind or weather. If it be faulty, where lies the blame, with the builder or with the structure? If you seek to cast blame on others for the upbringing of your son, you reveal your own lack of forethought and care for his well-being. If you delegate your son's instruction to another, it is your responsibility to see that the instruction is adequate.